Welcome to First and Goal, where everything is made up and the points don't matter. Get ready for the latest and hottest topics in the SML. Let's get started. Here's your host, Mad Bomber.
Welcome to this week's episode of First and Goal. This week we've got Prime Time 000 just before he takes on Dan here in about 2 hours. We got Meats, maybe his last time before having a green screen. And then we've got the ever-elusive Death Wish. He's making his first appearance. And Latin Yank, you here? Nope, Latin Yank doesn't know what time it is or day or who knows why, but he's not here today. So it's just going to be the four of us. So how's everybody doing tonight?
Good.
Pretty good.
I'm honored to be on with Meats and his mood lighting and poll master himself, the man who should have been in charge of the presidential election this year, Death Wish.
Appreciate that.
Yeah,
Appreciate
Nevada
that.
wouldn't have taken us so long with DW running.
All right, so let's jump right into topic one. Topic one, what off-season move is going to have the biggest impact on this season? And Meats, since you're already starting -5 for being the last one to show up, we'll go ahead and start with you.
All right, so I'm going to take the low-hanging fruit here. Number one overall pick, Alfonso Clinton to the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is not a good Steelers team. They were old to start the cycle. They've pretty much stagnated in terms of age. Not gotten a whole lot, only 3 guys over 90 overall. But this guy, he won the Heisman or was the All-Star MVP or something, superstar dev. And he had 150 rushing yards in week 3. He's going to be really for the Steelers, and I think he might just carry him to a few wins this season. That in terms of overall impact on a specific team. I also think the Cowboys had a really nice draft. 2 linebackers, 11th and 12th overall, and that is a linebacking core that needed that very sorely.
All right. DW, what do you think?
To be honest here, I missed the whole entire offseason. I was out of town. Also was dealing with negative cap space, so I honestly don't have a lot of input here, but I remember right before signing out or whatever that Clowney went somewhere big, and I'm blanking right now where he even went, but I know that was probably one of the biggest moves of the offseason.
Okay. Well, Clowney went to the Dolphins, and Paulie, who's currently 3-0, just beat RD and I can't remember who else he beat, but RD was the big win.
Meats.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Meats isn't really beating anybody lately. So, he went to Paulie, and it looks like that may have been a big pickup this offseason. What about you, Prime?
Yeah, I do. This isn't my pick, but I did like the draft pick there by the Steelers to get Clifton. Not only did he pair that running back with an X-Factor quarterback, he just about beat Future in his first game back. And then Raider was talking some smack, and then he put it on Raider fans. So that was kind of cool to see, I thought. But my biggest move is going to be the Broncos and the Bears. I mentioned it on Total Access, and Dan kind of thought 3 games into the season, I can't call it a win or a loss yet, but I'm going to. And here's why. Dan traded a superstar quarterback and a starting right guard straight up for a defensive end. No, even if Dan gets his new rookie quarterback to superstar dev, which he might in a season or 2, he might. Dan wanted the next Von Miller. The whole point of that trade was to get the next Von Miller. He got a normal dev defensive end who will not. You can't develop a defensive end like you can develop a running back or wide receiver. That defensive end will never be a superstar, or if he is, it'll be like the last season of the cycle. Dan lost that trade because he didn't get what he wanted out of it. He wanted the next Von Miller. He swung and he missed, and now he's scrambling to replace a superstar quarterback and a superstar linebacker who retired. So biggest move is Dan's flub up, not necessarily Figs adding to his team.
Yeah, I got to agree with that. I mean, really, he could have probably taken anybody off that free agent wire and made them a decent quarterback. So getting the quarterback had nothing to do with that trade. So that's going to take us to topic number 2. Every year, it seems like there's one team that sneaks into the playoffs. I mean, you had Death Wish, you got in last season. The season before that, it was Noel. It's like that 7th seed is usually up for grabs. This year, what team do you guys think takes that 7th seed and surprises people? And we'll start with you, Death Wish. All right, so we'll move on to Latin Yanks. He also has nothing to say. Prime, we'll start with you then.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with just crucify me now. Colt 45. You know what? He's feeling good. He beat Dan. He beat the Raiders. He beat Future Empire. He's never going to get named on a show again. So why not name Colt 45 as a guy who he plays the AFC West this year, and he's already beat the top 2 AFC West teams. He also is in the NFC South, which is a solid division, but you know he's probably going to lose to the Panthers twice. He could possibly beat the Bucks and could possibly beat the Falcons twice, depending on how that goes. So he's got an outside shot of making it. He really does. You know, depending on how the NFC West shakes out and a few other things. Honorable mention is Coop. We'll see. He's always right there. Seems to always miss out. But if Colt 45 is dialed in, he's already beat probably 2 of the toughest players he has on his schedule.
All right. DW, we'll go back to you.
Alrighty. I'm gonna go with one of my boys here, Mike FML, because he started off 1-2. He just beat Faz, right? I mean, I'm just looking at box scores.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing with him: his next 9 games in a row, all against winnable opponents, in my opinion. He's got the Lions twice. He's got the Bears twice. He's got the Titans. He's got the Eagles, the Texans, the Seahawks, and the Bucks. I think he can run around there and probably finish 10-6 on the season and probably make the playoffs. So my pick is gonna be Mike.
Okay. Meats, what do you think?
Yeah, okay, so Prime stole my idea, but
Let's
so
go!
just real quick, I'm gonna say the Saints will make the playoffs this year.
Thanks.
You can look at their schedule and circle 7 games right off the bat. Plus, they just beat the Raiders and Broncos. That's 9 games right there. So, whatever they can do. If I had to take it in a different direction, because I don't want to agree with Prime, I gotta go with Coop.
You agree with me again?
Shut up, Prime. He did just get blown out by the Jaguars, but 2 big wins over the Bears and the Jets. Latin's been playing a lot better when he decides to show up. And Figs even, he gave Dan a run for his money not too long ago. So maybe he's not the pushover that he's looked like in seasons past. But Coop, coming in with that schedule, it's not a terribly tough schedule. I'm looking at it right now, and I only see the Colts a couple of times, Jaguars another time, Vikings. Other than that, I think he might be able to win every single game on his schedule. I don't think he's going to, but I think he could.
Okay. So since it seems just about everybody's in agreement that the Saints are going to make that final wild card spot in the NFC, what team is out? Anybody?
Can I say me? Because
yeah,
I've been trash lately.
Well, the Bucks didn't make it. I think that's there's a shot that Field doesn't make it. Obviously, he's 0-2, and he obviously he took over when the Bucks had a good record. So I would say the Bucks are probably the most likely to go out if somebody else in the NFC South makes it.
Okay,
I will say this is the least comfortable I've been with my season going into a season in a long time. So we'll see how that turns out.
All right, so if the Bucks are out and we think
That's why you saying it.
Saints replace them,
Sure.
that means nobody's thinking
let's
Rams is getting in, right?
Hold on, we need guidance. We need guidance counselor time. What's wrong with Meats? Meats, what's going on here psychologically?
Listen, I don't think it's anything psychological. I think it's just I've played some really good teams the last 8 SML games, and had my ass handed to me, and then something's up with my defense. I don't know what, but we'll figure it out. We'll be back. Just maybe not this season. We'll see.
Dang.
All right. So Meats is definitely can be added to the list of guys that are defeated right now. We'll lump you in the
Long
woods.
list, man. Welcome to the club. Welcome to the club, my friend.
Hey, I'm officially an OG right now. I suck, right?
There you go.
Yes. Welcome.
All right. So we'll kind of change gears. We went from some gameplay stuff, but we just saw Flying High released on Friday, right? That was Demuse and QP. They did their podcast. Do you think we're going to see another run on content like we did early in the year when we had Sabotage came out and Church and there was one, I think Figs did one. Do you think we're going to see another run? Maybe that'll kind of jumpstart the NFC to do some stuff. And we'll start with you, Prime.
Yeah, I think we will. Will it sustain or stand the test of time? That's always the question. Just like the NFL, consistency is kind of the toughest thing to achieve. That's why Paulie and myself kind of blow off Tom Brady a little bit because he's consistently great. And to consistently do content is one of the toughest things to do. Um, I don't know if we've missed an episode of First and Goal in a long time. That's tough to do. Right now is an exciting time for the NFC guys because they just won a Super Bowl. And if there was a graph, the odds of making content after winning are much higher than making content after losing. We'll see after these guys get their stomachs punched in a little bit by the AFC guys. We're seeing it after Paulie did it, beat up RD and Meats. So I don't know. We'll just see after the AFC kind of hits them with a haymaker, start of season 39, how things will be looking content wise.
All right, Meats, as the official spokesman on this show for the NFC, what do you think?
I was looking around for some alcohol, but I don't have any up here. I think we are. I don't think it'll be as big as last time. We had a bunch of different shows that came out for 1 or 2 episodes last time, but I really think we are. We're seeing the return of Field. He's going to be pumping out some more podcasts, and he's got that green screen commentary set up going. And I think we're seeing kind of a shift in content to go from less podcasts and more to in-game content, like what we're seeing with Field.
Yeah.
I think Latin will commentate his games. I saw Dump commentating his own game the other day, and you know what? That's something I want to start too. So maybe
Yeah.
we'll see if I can get into that too. I really think we are about to see another run. I just think it's going to be a different one.
All right, and Deathwish, what do you think?
To me, I mean, content sells. I mean, that's what makes this league great. And the more content, the better. Obviously, I'm extremely consistent. At least I try to be with posting. I'm more of an articles guy. I really don't mess with podcasts or anything like that. But I mean, I enjoy doing the polls. I like getting chatter going.
All right, well, that
He's
was a
robot.
great answer there. It looks like,
I mean, all
he's back.
stuff is great. I think the more the better. And I mean, seeing great content.
All right, I'm sure that was a really good answer.
Sorry, guys. I'm having internet issues over
Your
here.
audio cut for a second.
Yeah,
Your
I'm
audio
sorry.
cut for a
That's
I
all right.
apologize. I don't know what you guys last heard, but you go ahead. Next topic.
We just all nodded to make it look like it was good. So. All right, topic 4. So this cycle, we've seen. Oh, it looks like a robot. This cycle, we saw Noel take a big step back. Maybe it wasn't even that big of a step looking at his lifetime record in the SML, but at least from last cycle, the end of it, it was a pretty big step back. And then Graham seems to have lost a step as well. He's one that everybody talked about, consistent playoff guy, and now he's like picking in the top half of the draft. Who do you think takes a step back next cycle? And we'll start with you, Deathwish, before we lose you.
All right, so I did some research on this. I pulled up, I think it's Meats that puts together that spreadsheet. What I noticed is there's a lot of OG guys, and I know it gets brought up all the time, and it kind of gets beat to death, honestly. But if you look at it, a lot of the new talent in the league actually has winning records in the league, which is different because when you look at guys like Lawyer, NYT, Woods even, they're all hovering right around 500 for their whole entire time here. Now, I wasn't here, earlier when they were dominating in this league, so can't really comment, who's going to be worse next. But just by judging even just the standings, looking at the standings with all these teams, these guys aren't improving, and I don't know why. But I mean, I played Lawyer week 1, and I was expecting to be dominated, just because I've heard great things about him, and I mean, I beat him, and we all know that I'm a 500 player. I mean, it is what it is. But honestly, I would pick Lawyer, man. I think that his time might have already been here. I mean, I love the dude; he's a great guy, nice guy, but I just think his time's spent here.
All right, Meats, what do you think?
To me, Lawyer already took that step back, so he's off my list. When I'm looking at this, I'm looking at guys that are performing at a high level now. That I just don't see them keeping up, or maybe it's the team making the player. So I'm gonna take this a different direction. I think we're gonna see a step back from a couple of different newer guys in the SML. QP, D Muse, some of those new guys that are making the playoffs consistently, and not just limited to those two, but those two are the ones I saw in the standings first. I think it's really easy, and a couple of guys have proven this before to come in and be pretty good, and then take a step back when everybody figures out your game and you catch up. So I think it maybe not even next cycle, but maybe even later this cycle, we're gonna see a few guys that maybe a little surprising take a step back.
Okay. And Prime, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that first and foremost, there are some OGs who do hover around 500, like Deathwish mentioned, NYT, Woods, Grams, who are all good players in their time. Maybe not ever a top 5 guy in the league. Well, Grams might have been top 5 at one point, but they were never like Super Bowl favorites. Somebody who I think was a guy who was a perennial Super Bowl contender and might be taking a major step back next year is Meats. I'm gonna say it. He's on the show. I'm nervous for him. He's working at Amazon. He's in love. He's washed up. Get the laundry detergent. Get the stains out. He's done. He's cooked. He's washed up. He's gonna make the playoffs, but his best years are behind him. No Lamar, no Freddie Golden, and now he's left with like the generic version of the Ravens from last cycle. And unless if he can recreate that, I hate to say it, but the stain is removed and Meats is washed up.
All right. Well, I don't know if anybody can argue with that, but that's going to leave us at.
Can I interject for just 1 second?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
I just had a question for Meats. Meats, you mentioned the newer players that are coming in the league that are doing very well. Is there one guy out of that group that you mentioned that you think will decline come next cycle?
Right off the bat, I'm gonna say QP. I think he's a little bit overachieving right now. I think people have shown that they can beat him when they play him multiple times. I haven't shown that, but I can't beat anybody right now. So.
All right. So that's going to leave us with Deathwish 21 points, Meats 27 points, Prime 30 points, but I'm going to give Meats 4 bonus points because he really looks like he could use a win right now. So
I
Meats,
agree.
You got the win. These 30 seconds are all yours.
Give it to Meats.
Yeah, it's like my second win in the last 10 games. Yeah, you know what? I've been losing. Everybody goes through ruts. I think Prime is won for his last 9 seasons in the Super Bowl. So I'm not too worried about it. We'll be back. We're gonna win, and Prime's gonna stay dramatic. So.
All right. Well, that's been this episode of First and Goal. Appreciate having you guys on, especially Latin Yanks. You were a little quiet this episode. Maybe next time.
Can I put in a motion for the league? Can we all band together and get some chocolates or flowers sent out to West Virginia, so or wherever Meats is at, Pennsylvania, so we can care for him. Maryland. Let's get some Russell Stovers out to Meats ASAP.
All right, so we'll see if we can get everybody to throw in on a little cheer up gift for Meats. But until next week, this has been First and Goal.
Thanks for listening to First and Goal. Be sure to check out Mad Bomber TV on Twitch and YouTube for the latest from the SML. And we'll see you next time on First and Goal.